This is probably the last time I'm going to be discussing or talking about the lore thing because I don't want to dwell on it too much. It's whatever happened, but I felt like I am warranted to give all of you an explanation as to what happened. So, for those who don't know, on July 4th, I released the Xer0phanes doc. I test screened the lore with a bunch of different people and some of my close mutuals, some very familiar faces in this community. And I was honestly thinking that the story was actually really relatively, well, at least good. Not terrible, not amazing, but good enough to stand on its own and just be like, it gets the point across. That's what I was hoping for. Like, you get an idea of what the character's like, how he got his powers, how he came to be, and everything. But my issue is that the big thing is, of course, I never wrote a story before. And I'm not the type of person who obviously can tell whenever something is misspelled, or I forgot punctuation, or flow, or streamlinedness, or anything to make a story solid. I am just a party of one when it came to the original story. And when I posted it online, throughout the course of July 4th, I saw some comments of people saying that it was good, but despite that, I saw messages from like people and mutuals alike saying that it was terrible. I thought you were this and da, but and a whole bunch of things, basically outlying to the point where it says that this is a terrible story. And some were not get very well at giving out criticisms, while others were definitely much more well versed in the Sonic story, in world building, and thought I could do better. Now, I want to point out that something that is clear from the day go that I need to make apparent. Like I said, I'm not a story writer. Like, I got ideas. I have a lot of cool ideas, but I don't know how to write or execute them. I do not retain any information regarding writing or punctuation or any sort of writing etiquette. All I know I can do is the stuff that I actually am interested in, or stuff that is important to me, and retain that information. But yet I get a lot of people and comments are like, there's like so many spelling errors, and honestly, that's actually a very valid reason. I was going to eventually get around to fixing all those spelling errors. I just wanted to get the story out there and just see what are people's thoughts on it. But then I see people who are like, oh, this character is mischaracterized, or this doesn't make sense and whatnot. And honestly, and there were some comments that actually did make sense on how I could have wrote it better, or how I could tell the story in a way that wasn't absolute garbage. Like, and I'm not saying that because that's like literally in the person's words. That's it is a little bit trashy. It's because like I said, I don't know how to write a story. That's simple as that. But regardless, all the comments I gotten really like got to me, so I eventually took it down. And I know it's a little bit immature of me to let these type of comments get to my head when I should have just kept the story up for people to see, and just take the criticisms in with like a grain of salt or something. But at the same time, it didn't feel right, because to me, it didn't feel like when I released that story that some people saying I was half-assing it, or that I was not well, that it was terrible, that it made me feel like if I didn't write this character well, it was not going to stick in the community. It was not going to be what I envisioned for Xer0. The main idea behind Xer0phanes is that it's supposed to be a manifestation of the EXE community. And while in hindsight, it is kind of funny how that kind of the way that the original Xer0phanes lore was like, is kind of like how the original Sonic.EXE lore was like before it got rebooted into 2011X or Xer0phanes or Xer0phanes. I just think that if I wanted this character to be like one of the main greats of the community alongside the others, that I needed to make this story something that people can enjoy, something that people can appreciate, and everything else. Even if I made the story clearly state that it was an AU, that I needed to make it sure that it was written well, everything felt right, and that there was as very little nitpicks or mistakes as possible. And so that's why I kind of took it down initially. Like, it's back up now after like a day or two. But regardless, I'm still going to go forward with rebooting the story and having it be rewritten. There is somebody on the job of rewriting Xer0phanes' story. And trust me when I say, this guy knows how to make an EXE story. And he knows how to write the characters. So I can assure you all that the new story is definitely going to be a lot better than the way I handled it. But regardless, I feel sorry to everybody for how the story was written in the first place. If I'm going to make Xer0 something within the EXE community, if I'm going to make Xer0phanes a name that is going to be known in this community, that he needs to have a story that is going to be something that it can held up to and be known in this community as a great EXE. And not just by people who looked at it and say, oh, it's great, or it's good, it's fantastic. No, I mean like from a good selection of people, like a good majority. So I'm just gonna move on. The story's going to, the new story's still going to be made. I'm probably, the best thing I'm going to do with the old story is just correct all the spelling errors over time and make an adjustment here or there. But regardless of how long I spent on it, the months and months of work is just all done, and now I turned out something terrible, and it's all going to be redone. So if anybody passes this video and actually made it to the end of this constant rambling, thank you for your time, and I hope that whatever comes next for Xer0phanes will be something that I can hopefully bring out to you that is of quality.